What's up, everybody? Here, this is a clip from my podcast with my wife. It's me and Leah, Til Death Do Us podcast, episode 10. We were asked about the Boston bombings, where we were, and we went into a whole bunch of stuff here. So enjoy the clip, and if you love it, make sure you check out Patreon, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, and I'll see you tonight for Throwdown and the party on Patreon afterwards. But yeah, just a reminder, you guys can hear the full hour episode of this up on Patreon right now. He's a JD fan. Jay Swiss says, where were you guys when the Boston Marathon bombing took place? How closely did you follow the coverage? I swear to God, we've been over this too. But
we were at home.
We were at home.
Which was about...
I skipped work the next day, I think. Or I went to work. If I went to work, I was fucked. Because I stayed up all night.
No, you tried to go to sleep. I woke you up when...
the stuff was happening.
So I had been listening to the Scanners. I'd been watching it all day. And
we can start from the beginning. The beginning is...
Okay. Well, we were home.
I saw body parts on TV. Is what the
I don't
beginning.
Remember if we had the marathon.
We had it on because I said...
No,
I said out loud. I was on YouTube. And I said, I should go down to the marathon and cover it for my channel. And I should go down to the marathon and like take video at the finish line and act weird. And then I was like, never mind. And then a few minutes later...
never mind.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I was like, never mind. And then like it was like... And I had the marathon on in the background. And then like 10 minutes later, I was also listening to the radio. I had the Toucher and Rich or somebody on the radio, or something was on the radio. And then they were like, they started talking like something, explosion happened or something like that. And I turned around and the marathon was on, and I seen people running and the cameras cutting, and what I thought I saw was puddles of blood everywhere on TV.
Yeah, because in the very beginning... There was they didn't censor anything.
Yeah.
Nothing was censored. It's like, there's like one classic picture that I think a lot of people, I think it's one that people would recognize immediately because it has the guy with the cowboy hat on running next to a wheelchair
or
they're holding it or whatever.
This is before that though.
But
I saw like an arm or something.
No, yeah, but...
Because I was like...
I don't think anybody lost an arm.
Before it was like it was ripped body, and I thought to myself, did I just see a ripped like somebody's body?
It was like legs everywhere. It's everybody like almost all the injuries you hear about are people missing legs
because the bomb was low. Yeah. Okay, so it was a leg. Maybe it was a leg.
Backpacks.
But I remember I saw that first and was like, did I just see a fucking leg or something on TV? What the fuck was that? And that's when I heard on the radio like there's an explosion. And then it started being like, what the fuck is going on?
But yeah, we like turned on the TV and...
We listened to the Scanner all day and all night.
But that picture, every time they post it now, is either blurred out or it's cut off. Really? So you don't see that bottom part.
I have the original.
He was holding the vein, but his legs are missing. But it was crazy because when you saw that go by on the screen, and I saw the pictures of it later,
yeah,
you didn't even realize what you were looking at. Like... Yeah. A lot of it was like you didn't realize you were looking at like this.
Yeah, a guy holding a vein. Looked like
horrendous scene.
He looked like maybe he was like a hospital worker holding an IV bag or something. By the way, I got to shout out to MAYIN DJINN for becoming a $25 patron. And anybody out there listening, by the way, if anybody wants to go up to the producer level and do a podcast or something like that, please message me and let me know what's going on. So I can get you up there and harass me about it because I'm forgetting. Okay, please harass me. So yeah, so we heard all that stuff, and we pretty much watched the we listened to the Scanner all day long, all night, all day long, into the night. And like Leah said, I fell asleep and I said, "Wake me up if something crazy happens." And the weird thing is, before that though, we heard, we were listening to the Scanner, and this is like a movie, because it was like, police officer killed, MIT, we're on the run, like suspects in this pursuit, like armed and dangerous, and we're listening to all this stuff, and we're like, this is crazy. And we're watching the news when they did those like meetings and those the press conference about seeing who they are and everything. It was so weird that they had figured out who they were, and like here's the guys that did it. And it was just crazy. It was so fucking crazy. And then at nighttime, I'll never forget, and anybody can dial up the Scanner and listen to it. The Scanner we listened to is the same one you're going to hear if it's still on YouTube. It was on YouTube years ago. And if it wasn't on YouTube years ago and nobody could ever find it, I do have it. Because I plugged my phone into the recorder, and somewhere I recorded the entire thing. I have about 9 hours of scanner content on tape from the Boston bombing. And, you know, they were like a couple towns away, or not too far away in a way, so it was like, you know, I mean, we didn't think that they were really going to come anywhere near us, but we still had to listen to make, you know, just to hear, like, hey, where are they, you know? Because it's not that far away, you know, 20 minutes and they could be in our area, in our neighborhood, you know? So I'm listening to make sure to tell where these people are. Everybody was. And yeah, we remember them. The biggest thing that we remember always, that we bring this up all the time, is that the news was nowhere near the information the scanner had. Like, the news was making all these retarded claims about stuff, and meanwhile we're listening to the scanner getting the facts. Like, oh no, this is what they're doing. And then the news would say police may be doing this or whatever, and it was like, nope, that's not what they're doing at all. And it was stupid. And then the most wildest thing that I've ever heard on a police scanner took place. And that was when they were driving after the suspects, the Tsarnaev or whatever they are, and they're throwing pressure cookers out the car at the cops, which sounds like the most ridiculous fucking thing out of a dumb movie. They're throwing shit at the cops. I believe the cops thought they had grenades at one point, or some kind of other explosives. And you can hear the cops saying that, I believe, in the scanner.
Left the scene. Okay, I need all officers on Boylston. Head off Boylston. Clear the area. Head towards Ring Road or Fairfield. All the side streets. Stay off Boylston. Once again, all officers on Boylston are to move out of Boylston, head towards Ring Road or Fairfield, or go to the side street. We need all officers monitoring to get off Boylston Street. Shut down Mass Ave, coming towards us.
So that was actually audio of after the actual bombing. I'm still looking for the scanners from the other times, because there was so much stuff. It was insane. There was so much stuff going on at night. They were like, they're throwing some kind of explosions. They're throwing pressure cookers at us. And then you heard like a and fucking cops being like, move back, move back. Like, and just, it was fucking crazy. And you could hear the explosions. And then there would be a cop, like, we're in pursuit, 3 of us, like, behind vehicle, suspect vehicle, right on, blah, blah, blah. And then you could hear them describing the moment where the guy runs his own brother over or whatever the fuck with the van. And they were like, suspect down, like, blah, 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 in pursuit of the other suspect, suspects in custody, driving erratically, blah, blah, blah. And then you just heard everything, the gunshots, if there were, like, whatever they were, explosions. And then it came down to the guy got away, and then they started that sort of memorable manhunt in Watertown, Massachusetts, where they taped off a square block, and they just began this massive manhunt in the area. And that was when the guy finally eventually noticed blood on the side of his boat in his backyard, and the brother had jumped in the boat. And then I remember the news saying that the news media, they didn't know what was going on, and they thought maybe the cops were trying to do something. I don't know what it was they thought they were doing, but they were wrong about it. And what the cops were doing is, I think they said that the helicopter was coming in. They were like, oh, another helicopter is coming in so they can get a better visual of the suspect. But the reason why another helicopter was coming in was because they were going to drop flash grenades, flash bangs on the suspect to get him to force him out of the boat or to disorient him. And so they did. They launched 2 flashbangs, and I'm not 100% sure now. I don't remember if he ended up coming out of the boat because of that, or if they just said fuck it and went in anyway, because they did have visual on him from a chopper. But there was another helicopter that was the one that I think, deployed the stun grenades or stun flashbangs. That, or they laid the flashbangs or tossed them into the boat. I don't remember which way it went, but I remember the news had it way wrong, and I was listening to the scanner, and I was like, nope, that's not what they're doing, dum-dum. And the news media, like, made up something. She's like, well, it looks like now they're maybe there. And then once it happened, they finally were like, oh, yeah, that was probably stun grenades. But, yeah, that was basically it. And I'm still looking for more audio, but I honestly can't find any other audio aside from, you know, this audio that happened.
Side street, stay off Boylston. Once again, all officers on Boylston are to move out of Boylston, head towards Ringwood or Fairfield, or go to the side street.
Are you talking about the scanner audio?
Yeah, I already...
You can find it. It's been archived on broadcastify.com. It's a site for scanners, and they archive...
I have it. I mean, I have it on my old laptop. There's 10 hours.
Yeah, but the major things that have happened, so like that, I think like the Pulse nightclub, Las Vegas, all those major incidents.
The thing that makes this tough is this was like, what was it, 48 hours or something? It was about a 48-hour situation.
No, it was within 24 hours.
Okay, so what happened was
we watched it all day, and
I
then,
already went over everything. Unless you have something new that I didn't bring up, but
maybe because you went to bed.
I did.
I told you about it.
Yeah. I said, wake me up if something crazy happens, and you did. You woke me up. What I said, I remember.
Well, all right, you want me to just?
I remember everything. I remember we were listening when the MIT thing was happening.
No, there was.
That was what you might have been waking me up during that.
That's what.
But I woke up for when they were actually going after them, and the brother got run over.
That's what I woke
That was
you up
crazy
for.
shit.
So what?
That was crazy.
What happened with you going to bed was you went to bed, and I started just watching TV, or I was watching it on TV, whatever. And then my phone went off for the Boston scanner again because I have it set to go off for so many people. Listening, you know, anywhere in the country, I have my scanner set so that it'll start going off and alert me when, say, there's like 2,000 people listening, because usually that means there's something going on, except for Chicago, which I had to like blank out because there's always like a million people listening to it. So I got the alert for the scanner, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Maybe they found them. So I start listening to it, and it was in
that's not good before bed. Yeah.
It was in response. They were responding to the call that you remember Officer Collier, I think. The MIT security.
Yeah.
They were responding to that. And at first, everything that was coming over the scanner was no indication that it was related at all. But I was listening to it anyway because it was nuts.
There's another thing that was happening. Yeah, you're like, now a cop.
So I was like, all right, I'll listen to it. But then they started coming over that they believed it was related, because I think by the time they found him, he was already. I think he was shot. Like he killed.
Yeah, they shot him in the back of the head. Like,
yeah, and that's when they started saying it was like related. And then I listened. I woke you up, I think, just in time to hear where they were chasing them, and then you could hear the shootout.
Yeah.
And then they reported that they had one of the brothers and that one of them was missing. And then so they had the whole, was it Watertown?
Yeah.
They had Watertown like locked down, and they were searching every, because they...
I went over this part. Yeah, this is when they were doing the crazy...
And that's about the time
manhunt.
They shut off the scanners because they were concerned he was listening.
They brought him back on, though, because they brought the scanners back on once that guy said, oh, there's blood in my boat.
Which is the next morning.
Okay, yeah, so because he was in there for like hours, right? So that's why I'm saying there's like 3 parts to this. There's more. That's why the scanner is so hard to figure out, because there's the initial bombing. So the first 2 hours on the scanner, that is crazy. And then there's the MIT thing, which you have to listen to that. And then there's the them being chased, and then killing of the other brother, and them throwing stuff at the cops. And then there's the whole... Yeah, because
there was a huge thing where they freaked out.
Yeah.
Over, because they had thrown another...
they threw pressure cookers at the cops. And grenades, they thought, or the cops said explosives, but it could have been pressure cookers.
It was pressure cookers. They threw them out of the car. And...
it would have been funny if they blew themselves up, because I don't know how they didn't do that.
I think that is what happened.
Like one went off in the car, and that's why he crashed?
No, because one of them got out of the car, and I don't know if it was like he was throwing one or what ended up happening. I'm not sure exactly how it happened. But what ended up happening?
Is there video of this? Because that would look insane.
Was the brother drove over his brother?
Yeah. It's funny. He killed his own brother. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I would have fucked with him on that. I'm like, you killed your own brother, you retard.
It was the next morning because the guy said he noticed that the tarp on his boat
was bloody.
He
was
said,
open,
well,
and there was blood on the side of the
he noticed
boat.
that it was partially off the boat from his house. So he went out there to fix it, and then he saw blood on the boat, and he looked in, like fucking nutbag, looked in the boat, and
with
saw
all this going on.
and saw him just laying there, and that's when he went back in the house and called. You think like
at that time, at that time though, that guy was unarmed, and that guy could have beat the shit out of him if he wanted to.
Was he unarmed?
Yeah, at the time.
But he didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
They were looking for like a murderer.
But that's why he didn't
in Watertown, which was locked down. They had it like closed off.
The guy was
so
bleeding to death. He's bleeding to death in a boat.
You'd think like the first indication is, oh, the tarp on my boat is wrong, because the police in every case would rather you call them and have them come out and look and check and have it be nothing than have you go out there and look So that should have been indication one. But indication two, blood. Oh, let me lift up the tarp and look.
You know what I would have done? This is fucked up. I would have
something unrealistic.
I don't know. I would have lifted up the tarp, and I would, first of all, if I was that stupid.
So you're a retard.
No. What I would have done is call the cops. But what I would have done if I was dumb, and I lifted up the tarp and didn't call the cops like an idiot, and I seen him in there bleeding to death, I would have gone inside, got a weapon or a gun, and I would have had my cell phone, and I would have got up in the boat and I would have stared at him, and I would have been like, "Yo, what's up? You're gonna die in here." And I wouldn't have called the cops for like hours. Because if the
then you're a murderer.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are.
How?
You're still a murderer.
Who's going to know? Who's going to find out? I'd be like...
Somebody's going to notice you standing there for hours.
I came out here. There was a guy in the boat.
Also, were his injuries deadly?
Oh, yeah. He got shot.
Yeah, did he?
He had fucking all fucked up. Yeah, he was almost dead. He almost died.
How was he not dead then? Because he was there all night.
He was all fucked up. And now he's still alive.
He was able to get out of the boat under his own power.
Barely. And
but
then,
he did.
Then he had to take him to the hospital.
Because there was a huge standoff
He
for a while.
stayed in the hospital for a while. And then Time Magazine gave him this fucking John Lennon cover or something.
I hate Time Magazine. I want them to burn.
Or who was it? Was it Time or was it...
No, it was Time because they're the same ones that put like...
Rolling Stone.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because they put...
And then
like
women,
they're the same people that like put Manson on the cover and like all this shit.
And then women were like, yeah, like, oh my God, like I'll get him out of jail. It's like, he killed a child, right? So yeah, that's why I wish he was dead.
It's not even just like he killed a child. He killed at least he's responsible for the two that died at the marathon for sure. I think they believe the other brother killed.
Yeah, they think the other brother was the controller of the whole thing.
And there was another officer too. There's a fifth person who died later on, and he died like later, but because it was like a year later, but it was in relation to everything he sustained. I believe it was an officer or something. Everything he sustained at the time. Another officer almost died too. There was one that almost died. Remember?
Yeah, he got fucked up bad. Yeah, he had like he walked out of the hospital like a month later with crutches or something like that.
Barely
titanium legs now or something like that.
No, I don't know.
He got shot in the dick or something.
It was like I believe crotch. It was like not his dick, but I believe it was like right near it. Like you have like arteries here.
Yeah.
He almost bled to death is what I think it was.
See, I would have claimed insanity that like I saw this kid killed a kid on TV or something like that, and I was like, fuck that. I would have I'd be like that crazy guy. I'd put him in my basement and be like, why'd you do this?
Want me to tell you why that won't work?
Why not?
So insanity defenses usually work when, all right, we'll take, for example, the man he went into the barn and saw the worker on the farm raping his child.
Yeah.
And he killed him there on the spot.
Right.
That's an insanity defense because it's like a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like blind rage. That's insanity. That is, if you're standing over this guy for hours and watching him.
Who's going to prove that you stood over him for hours?
It's the fact that you can't stand there for hours over somebody and watch them die and not... It's the idea that you can't at some point realize what you're doing.
You can drag him in your house, though, and beat the shit out of him and then call the cops.
again, you'll still get in trouble for that, whether he's a murderer or not.
But you could grab him and pretend like he's wrestling with you, and then you go into your house and you're like, oh, fuck. Even though he's like almost dead, and then just be like, hey.
Okay, for everybody that can't see that, you just made a stabbing motion.
Yeah. I'd stab him with a knife. I'd be like, dude, this is the murderer. He came into my house. He was in my boat, then he ran at me because I saw him.
You know, like, they have... It's not like they wake up one day and something happens, and that's the only... what I'm saying is there's professionals that deconstruct even accidents, crime scenes, all of that, and can tell what happened.
I'm going to say that the cops go, you'll be all right. Bet you $100. The cops would have been like...
Yeah, maybe.
Nobody's going to be like, you know what, you're in trouble too. No way. If you just, the cop killer, kid killer, bomber, and now he's in your boat, in your house, you could have done anything you wanted to that guy.
Probably, especially...
The cops probably hope you did.
I wouldn't put it past Boston cops to look the other way.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm saying, based on the law, you could be held accountable.
I know. I think I would have lost my mind.
You can't watch somebody die.
I know, but like, I'd be like, this is the guy who killed the cops and the kid.
Like, if you have it within your power to do something to help somebody or report something or whatever, you have to do it.
But you don't have to help that guy.
No, but if you saw him in the boat, I'm saying, based on the law, you have to call.
I can't call after I bash him in the face a couple times.
But again... I know that
I'm not turning my back on the boat. What if he?
I know
what if
what
he has
you're
a gun?
saying. I know what you're saying is that you could do that.
Throw him off the boat.
I know what you're saying is you could do that and get away with it because cops, DA, all of them are probably going to look the other way.
He's trespassing in your boat. He's a murderer.
I don't think you can murder somebody just for being on your property.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Unarmed?
Yes.
Not breaking into your house.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that a child walks across a lawn and somebody can shoot them and kill them.
It happens.
You can't do that. That is murder.
Not in Massachusetts, but yeah, you can in New Hampshire.
Okay, well, this occurred in Massachusetts. And you can't do that. You can't shoot a child walking across your lawn.
Have you seen private property trespassers will be shot on sight? Have you ever seen those signs? Because it's the law. I don't agree with it because that just means, oh, look, a person, I can just shoot them. That's bullshit.
No, you can't do that. And there's also this.
But if I see the bomber, you've said wanted, armed, and dangerous, and now he's face to face with me.
They also say, do not confront, call the police.
Didn't confront. I was like, what the hell's wrong with my boat? And I went in there. There he was, and he lunged for me. Punched him in the throat. And then I threw him off the boat, and he landed on the fence like that.
Like I said at the beginning, in an unrealistic situation, because you would never do any of this. I know you. I know you as a person.
Right. I would see,
and you would be like, fuck it, call the cops.
I would say, well, no, I'm saying, assuming I'm stupid like this guy and I looked in the boat. If I was this guy, and we were watching it all day.
By the way, I'm pretty sure it was an older gentleman.
It was an old guy, that's the thing. But if it was, like, let's say it happened in our town, which is kind of close to us, but like, let's say it happened in our town exactly. And I go out back and I see blood on the boat and the thing is open and they're in my neighborhood looking for this guy. I'm going to be like, somebody's in our backyard and I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to lock all the doors, tell everybody to get upstairs or in the basement, upstairs in our case, 3rd floor, everybody on the 3rd floor, lock all the doors, call the cops. That's what I would do. And if I have a weapon, I'd grab the weapon. Probably grab a bow and arrow since I'm not allowed to have a gun apparently. But that's what I would do realistically. Now, if I was stupid and I went up to the boat and I saw him, I don't know what I'd do. Not sure. If our kids were grown and gone,
I don't think it
would be different.
Would even look in the boat if you saw blood on the outside of it.
I wouldn't because I'm not stupid. But no, I'm just saying.
That's why I can't believe every time I hear that story about that guy doing that.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing.
I can't believe that. It's you know that they're looking for this person in your area.
That's how fucked up the kid was, though.
Or never even mind that. Never mind that. Even if it was a normal day, I walk. Oh, my tarp's coming off my boat. I better go fix that. Walk over, blood on the outside. Fuck it, walking back in, calling the cops.
Maybe.
Even if all this shit wasn't going on, I saw blood on the outside of my boat and the tarp is off. Yeah. I'm not looking in there.
Yeah, if it's a significant amount of blood, then. And if I identify that that's blood and I don't think like, is that paint or something? What is that?
I'm pretty sure you could tell.
Yeah, it was bad. Because I'm telling you, he was about
Pretty
to
sure the
die.
boat was white too.
That's why I'm saying if he'd been like, yo, you're going to sit there a while.
Aren't like the tarps on boats tied down pretty damn well usually too?
Usually blue tarps. Yeah.
I think it was a white tarp, wasn't it?
Whatever.
I don't know. They had the cameras over that house for like 7 hours.
Okay, well, that was J Swiss. J Swiss, thanks. James and Monica. Monica, Leah, what is the strangest thing Joe has ever asked you to do sexually? And did you do it? And then he writes James. And then 2 lines down, Monica face palms. And then J Swiss says, can't wait to hear this response on this one. Have I even said anything like that? Like, do this?
I